first and foremost, the first thing we do is we vet all our drivers to ensure a community of trusted drivers.
Unlicensed and unregulated public transport operators have become a concern as they pose a serious risk to both passengers and the public at large. In studio on Out and About this afternoon, we are joined by Kalipi Aluvilu, who is the co-founder and operations manager for LEFA, and to remind us on why they remain one of Namibia's most trusted, safe and reliable cab service, and how to identify illegal passenger transport operators. Kalipi,
thank you for having me.
Welcome to the family.
Thank you too.
Let's get into it. How does LEFA and everyone knows LEFA, no introduction needed.
Yeah.
How does LEFA ensure the safety of its riders and drivers as well?
Well, first and foremost, the first thing we do is we vet all our drivers to ensure a community of trusted drivers. Then along with that, we have a number of features in the app that allows both drivers and passengers to feel safe. So there's an SOS button. All trips are tracked, and riders can share their information with anybody directly from the app, so that other person can then track your trip. Yeah.
So getting into the background checks, what goes into it? What kind of background checks do you conduct on potential drivers before allowing them to join?
Well, all professional drivers should have a PDP, and with that PDP, it means that you've been vetted by the Namibian police to ensure that you have no criminal history. And then we do our own internal vetting just to make sure that anybody who drives for us aligns with our community of values.
Now, with Namibians, and as someone who's also been cabbing for many moons, the dangers of illegal passenger transport and just transport operators in Namibia. Let's dive into that. What is your stance on the topic? What is your take on all of that?
It's quite an important thing to discuss, and I think it's important to bring this sort of discussion into the public discourse, just so that there's awareness about what are the dangers that are involved in the rise of illegal taxis as a result of the rise of ride-hailing companies. I think the most important thing is that we believe that as you said, it poses a threat to the general public as well as our passengers and our drivers as well.
And what do you think can be done? How can riders protect themselves with all of these risks that do come with it?
It's difficult, but there's a pretty simple answer. When you get into any transportation, you should be able to feel safe in it. And the way that is done is all ride-hailing companies have to be registered with NTB, Roads Authority, and NATIS. That means that vehicle should have 4 discs on it. And if it doesn't have 4 discs, then you know that you're in an illegal taxi.
Just very simple, not hard to...
It's not hard, but unfortunately it's something that people aren't really aware of.
Yeah.
And unless you're aware, you don't know. So you put yourself in grave danger in getting into a cab where you don't know that this person has all the... has been properly certified. And along with that certification comes insurance. No one ever speaks about insurance. But if something happens to you in a car that's uninsured, you don't have anybody to fall back on. But with our vehicles and with other legal operators, you're insured up to 5 million for every incident that occurs. And that is not the case with illegal transport operators.
Now bringing it back home to LEFA, what is LEFA's vision for the future of ride-hailing in Namibia, and how do you see yourself and the game, if you will, changing and evolving over time?
Well, one, we want it to be properly regulated to even the playing field for everybody. We never shy away from competition, but we always say competition has to be fair, and it has to be safe. It has to create an environment that's safe for riders and the drivers, where it's fair also. So we think that it's with the rise of these new ride-hailing companies, they're undercutting the market. So they're creating a space where drivers aren't able to make a living. That's Namibian drivers. And in that case, we're destroying an entire sector. Well, we think or rather we're excited about the regulation of the industry, but more than that, for ourselves as a business, we're excited to develop e-rides. We, in the near future, will be introducing electric vehicles, and I think given the Namibian government's firm commitment to bringing down the global, gashouse emissions. They've said in their nationally developed contributions, the policy document that's around our drive or strive to reducing greenhouse gases, that they want 10,000 EVs on the road by 2030, and we think we can be a great catalyst for introducing the public to e-services or e-rides.
E-rides, yeah. Just to go back to the safety, and we're very familiar with how LEFA is encouraging and motivating that, but how can the general public, riders and drivers alike, how can they play a role in promoting safety? Because we stressed that it is arguably the biggest concern, when it comes to just this entire topic. How can the general public, riders, drivers, promote safety and reduce the risks that are associated with illegal passenger transport operators? Snitching.
No,
it is the only case where snitches don't get stitches.
Yeah. No, for the most part, the first thing is being aware, and that's the reason for conversations like this. Awareness is quite important, but more so than that, like I said, snitching.
Yeah.
If you get into a ride where you know that the person that you're in does not have the proper certificates and licenses, then inform on them, report them to the police. It's the only way we can remove the scourge from our streets and ensure a safe transportation sector. All this is against the background that we actually have one of the highest per capita accident rates in the world. Now put in there illegal transporters and you're escalating that risk exponentially.
Yeah. 100%, and even just the stats on the accidents, it baffles me with population and our roads.
They're great.
They're absolutely great, and this is why there's the discount promo code, which is beautifully titled the No DUI, is absolutely phenomenal. The listeners, if you don't know, you can get 20% off of a LEFA to and from your venue, event, whatever you're doing. I'm going to say event because the promo code is No DUI.
Yes.
Please do utilize that as we edge closer to the weekend. Just the safety is all around, and we're talking from inside the vehicle to what happens outside the vehicle. It doesn't have to be your vehicle that is safe. If you are compromised, the No DUI promo code is there.
Relevant to you.
Is very much relevant to you. Now, it's a very important conversation to have, because I as a Namibian, as someone who does frequently cab, as I mentioned, safety is always a concern, and it is the number one thing that pops up in the mind. So it's important to be aware of these topics, and I appreciate you, Kalipi, coming through and just shedding light. And I'm sure we're going to have many more conversations.
More discussions
on not just safety but LEFA and all the updates. I'm keen to have to further that discussion on the e-rides, and I know we're going to get there when we get there.
Yeah.
But for now, I appreciate you joining us today on Out and About.
Thank you for having me, Skrypt.
And that is Kalipi Aluvilu, who is the co-founder and operations manager for LEFA Namibia.
99 FM's Out and About was brought to you by LEFA. Leave the driving to us. By Namibians for Namibia.